world gets you down and you're feeling lonely, when you can't find your truth or find your center, there are many here who gather together. Oh, unconditionally, we love each other, and the scars that we see just make us stronger. We breathe it in together, we'll hold you up with grace. We know that love lives here in you and me. Love lives here. My soul breaks free. I'm so excited to be united with you. Where love lives, where love lives. When life gets you down, you can't see the future. When it all seems too much for you to handle, there are many here who gather together. Oh, unconditionally, we pray together, and the hurt that you feel will be set free. We breathe it in together, we'll hold you up with grace. We know that love lives here in you and me. Love lives here. My soul breaks free. I'm so excited to be united with you. Where love lives, where love lives. Love lives here in you and me. Love lives here. My soul breaks free. I'm so excited to be united with you. Where love lives, where love lives. Love lives here.
Good morning and welcome to Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. I am Reverend Jeffrey Ryan, and it is my distinct honor and pleasure to serve this beloved community where love lives here. Welcome, everybody. As you are coming in, make sure that you put in the comments there where you are watching us from. Say good morning to one and all. And if you are watching us on Facebook, you might want to go ahead and consider starting a watch party to share that with your friends and family, as well as use the hashtags WeAreCSL and hashtag Love Lives Here. As we get started, as we've been doing every Sunday morning, we acknowledge that we gather on the unceded territory of the Kauai people, as Ed is unwrapping his tasty cake. Let's try that again. We acknowledge that we gather on the unceded territory of the Kauai people. We commit to live in right relations, to love our neighbor, to seek justice and loving kindness, and to walk humbly upon this land. We recognize our oneness, to decolonize our minds and to set each one of us free from the pain of racism and violence, to live better as God intended, in harmony with nature and with one another. So now we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to say hello here. Good morning, my beautiful beloveds. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wow, good morning, Shawnee. Good morning, Mike and Jeannie. We are knowing fullness and wholeness and perfection for your beloved Kiko, knowing that that all is well with her. Good morning, Pat. Good morning, Francis. Good morning, Vicky and Marty. Great to see you from your living room. Yes, from my living room to yours as well. Good morning, Russ. Great to see you. Good morning, Seth. Hey, Mom. Good morning to the Williams family and to Denise and Earl. Bogan. Good morning, Maria. Good morning to the Stringfellows. Aloha kakahiaka. To the Wilsons on the big island of Hawaii. Good morning, Cindy. Good morning, Reverend Victoria, and good morning to Anita and Frank right here in Riverside, just a couple streets away from me, really. All right, so good morning, one and all. It's great to see you. We're going to sing now so that Ed can eat his tasty cake in peace. So let's go ahead and sing Spirit is Alive in Us. See you soon.
Hi, everybody. Come on and sing with us, please. And Matt's on the drums today. Let's go. you're alive in us. You're alive in us right here. Spirit, you're the light in us. Shining bright through us right here. Spirit, you're the love in us. Reaching out with every touch. Spirit, you're the voice in us. Rising up beyond the hush. Yeah. We feel it. We feel it. We see it, believe it. We feel it, we feel it. We see it, believe it. The spirit. We see it, believe it. The spirit. We see it, believe it, the spirit. God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am.
Good morning. I'm Allison Barry, one of the licensed spiritual practitioners at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. So lovely to have you here this morning. I'm going to invite you to join me for this morning's invocation. And if it's comfortable for you, close your eyes, take a breath, a beautiful, deep, cleansing breath. Feeling indeed it is the rhythm of the divine, breathing in through and as us, enlivening us, for it is us. The absolute enduring spiritual truth of life is that there is only God. And this one presence, this one power, this one source of absolutely everything lives, moves, and has its being in all, as all, and through all. It is deep, pure agape love, unconditional. It is grace, boundless energy. It is the divine order and harmony that orders the universe and the spheres. It is truth, opulent supply, limitless and boundless in every facet of it. And absolutely what I know is it is pure potentiality, expressing through and as us. For we think in, through, and as the one mind. And this infinite intelligence, indeed, guides and directs, provides a deep assurance that all is in order, that all is well, that we are connected to something greater than each and every one of us, and how magnificent that is to contemplate. We are fashioned and formed of this God stuff uniquely and brilliantly and magnificently. And so as we come together this morning, we are keenly aware of our divine inheritance of who and what we truly are, spiritual beings. And so everything that unfolds during this gathering today is in divine order, for God is in the midst. This beautiful infinite intelligence is expressing through and as Reverend Jeffrey, through and as Jubel, through and as those behind the scenes, Matt and Michelle. It is expressed through every prayer that is prayed, song that is sung, just the entire atmosphere that connects us this day and always is infused with the light, the love, the grace, the power, the wisdom, the joy of the infinite. So I do know that each and every one of us is open and receptive to good upon good upon good, and that the right and perfect message for each and every one of us individually and collectively is at hand. We are receptive to these magnificent ahas, and through them we indeed are transformed and healed, and all is well. So I let this all be so, and together we say, and so it is. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spirit is our source of strength. We honor it with each breath we take. One heart, one mind, one power. In the name of love. In the name of love.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Jabel. Thank you, Matt. And once again, good morning, everyone. It is great to see you coming on in. Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Patty. Great to see you. Good morning, John. Good morning, Lupe Marie. It's wonderful to have you with us this morning. So great to have all of you with us as we enter into this third Sunday already of February, the third Sunday of February. So here at Centers for Spiritual Living, we are working with a theme this year of timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision. But before we get into that, I want to affirm our focus statement here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. I'd like you to say this with all the V's: vim, vigor, velocity, voluptuousness, vivaciousness, and any other V you can think of. Velocity, how's that? All right, so here we go together. We embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. One more time. We embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. And that is what we are up to here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, in service to our larger vision of a world that works for everyone and all of creation, and our larger purpose of awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. So this year, Centers for Spiritual Living Worldwide, we have the theme of timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision. And this month, we are working with the theme of one journey, many paths. And today we are looking at one mind, infinite connections. One mind, infinite connection was also the theme of this year's virtual conference that about 10 of us attended, 10 of us from our center attended this past week via Zoom, and that was our Centers for Spiritual Living conference. So myself and several practitioners and laity members attended a week-long conference with workshops and general sessions and music and messages from all around the world. And it was really fantastic to see how our organization, this organization that we are a part of, is a global organization. We had folks delivering messages from Peru. We had folks delivering messages from Thailand. We had music from Mexico. We had a practitioner share a message from Nigeria. We had folks, of course, around North America as well. We started off in Hawaii, on the island of Kauai, and then we moved to Denver, and then Albuquerque, New Mexico, and then finished it off with our center in Lexington, Kentucky. Yes, we have a thriving center in Lexington, Kentucky, if you can believe that. It is amazing. So we had this great experience, and the theme was one mind, infinite connections, and that's what we are talking about today. So backing up just a little bit, the month theme is one path, many journeys. And
one journey, many paths.
Oh, sorry. Michelle was just like, I was like, what? One journey, many paths. I don't know why I want to say one path, many journeys, but one journey, many paths. And what I shared with you before is what this references is that there are a variety of faith traditions around the world. And each faith tradition really is, each of the major faith traditions is really moving toward on this one journey, but they're approaching it from many paths. And what we believe here at Centers for Spiritual Living is that, as Ernest Holmes said, the ultimate goal of life is the complete emancipation from all discord of any kind, and everyone is sure to achieve this goal, right? And so what that means then is that the ultimate goal is emancipation or freedom or liberation from any discord, any and all discord, any and all disharmony. Translating that even further, the ultimate goal then is a joining, a remembering, a living from our oneness, a living into our oneness, a living from our place of oneness, and experiencing that oneness. Because when we experience that oneness, What are we? We're free from any sense of duality. And we know that duality is really the source, if you will, of discontent or dis-ease or dysfunction or disharmony, is a false belief in duality, a false belief in two rather than one. And so what we see this in the world's religions. Granted, they're approaching it from slightly different aspects, but we see this in the world's religions. In the Yoruban tradition of West Africa, there is the belief in one omnipotent, omnipresent being, spirit, God, if you will, that is genderless, has no gender, that is everywhere present, always and in all ways, living within each and every one, living within all of life, that all of life itself is interconnected, that all of life is an expression of this one, and that the individualized soul, or individualized like you and I, that the ultimate goal of that soul is a return to their awareness of their oneness. Sound familiar, doesn't it? In Hinduism, we have the similar thing, that really there is just the one overarching God, if you will, the one overarching high consciousness, high mind, and that it is about that human life is about freeing ourselves of the illusion that we are separate from the one life that is all life. Same is true for Buddhism. Same is also true for the Kabbalistic tradition of Judaism, that all of life started off as one spark of light that then exploded. And so the idea is all of the sparks of light coming back together, merging as one, returning to the one source. So you see that there are these different ways, these different paths, but really the journey is still one. Author Matthew Fox calls this one river, many wells. One river, but many wells. It's another way of looking at this. But when I was thinking about this one river, many wells, or one mind, infinite connections, when I got to think about this one river, many wells, I was thinking about Ed's parents. They live on the Elk River, technically in Maryland, but it's really right on the border of Delaware. So, and they're from Delaware. But anyway, they live on the Elk River. And all the homes in their area along the Elk River there are on wells. They each have their individual well that they draw the water up, that the water is drawn up from and supplies their individual homes. So everybody has an individual well. It's not a common well, it's individual wells. And so when you think about it that way, then there's all these, it's one aquifer, it's one river, but there are many wells tapping into the one aquifer and drawing up the water from the one aquifer. So in that way, the one aquifer is the connector. Each home in their neighborhood, in their area, is connected to every other home in their neighborhood with this one aquifer. So if the water becomes tainted in the aquifer, if there's a problem with the water in the aquifer, then it impacts everybody, right? Fortunately, that hasn't happened, so all's well. But the idea here, though, is that there's one aquifer, and each one is tapping into that one. And each one is using it individually. Each one has individualized their use of the water. Water is a metaphor when we look at metaphysics, and when we look at metaphysical interpretations, especially metaphysical interpretations of the Hebrew and Christian Bible. Water is a metaphor for consciousness. So God spoke its word upon the waters. So God spoke its word upon consciousness and life was created, and earth was created, right? So it's speaking the word upon the water, the word upon consciousness. So when you look at this, then we have the opportunity to move our awareness into, if the well or the aquifer is source, is consciousness, and Mom and Papa Joe are turning on their faucet. Mom might be making coffee for me when we're back there at Christmas time. She might be using it to make coffee. She might be filling Bruno's dog dish with it. She might be washing dishes. She might be mopping the floor. She might, or Papa Joe might use it for taking a shower or watering the plants outside or washing the car. But they're using it in individualized ways, as is everybody else in the neighborhood. Everybody is using it in individualized ways, but it's the one source. It's the one water. It's still the same thing used individually by different people to achieve different results, to experience different things with water. Ed might be freezing it for his ice cubes for his iced tea, right? So it's all being used. It's the one source being used in an infinite number of ways. Just like us, it's the one mind with infinite connections. It is that one consciousness that we individually tap into, that one consciousness, the one mind. We individually connect with it. So there's an infinite number of connections. We individually connect with it, draw it up, and bring it forth and allow it to flow forth from within us. And then we can use that for a variety of experiences in our life. It's that consciousness, the one mind that we bring forth, that we can then use to form our experiences, to shape our experiences in our life, to choose what it is, the way that we wish to use our mind, our consciousness, for good or other. It's a choice how we're going to use it, right? When we are talking about treatment, when we are talking about spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, remember that we do not put our power into the treatment. It is not about putting power into the treatment. It's not about putting power into the meditation. The power already is. What it is it is allowing that power to flow forth from within, allowing that power to come forth. And we can receive that power, we can experience that power to the degree, to the level that we believe in it. So just like with the well, if Mom turns on the tap just a little bit, she's just going to get a trickle in the kitchen sink. Whereas if she flips it all the way up, she's going to get a gush in the kitchen sink, right? Or in the shower or what have you. There's going to be a gush there, right? So same with us too. It's our faith, our belief is what controls the amount of flow that we are experiencing in our lives. Ernest Holmes, in our What We Believe statements, he says that we believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature. They who live in close contact with the indwelling God shall be revealers of truth. That each one of us is a revealer of truth. Each one of us has the potential to be a revealer of truth, to the degree that we live in close contact with the indwelling presence. remembering that the highest most God and the innermost God is one God, that there is only one, that we believe in unity, and that those who live in close contact with it, those who live in close presence with it, they have the ability, we have the ability, you and I have the ability to be direct revealers of truth. That we don't need an intercessory, we don't need a prophet to reveal truth to us. Each one of us has that power within us if we are willing to live in close contact with the divine. So last week we were talking about the lover of my soul, right? We were talking about the Spirit. We were talking about God as our companion, God as our beloved, God in that relationship of you and I and we, and this beautiful relationship with the divine. That living in close contact, living in intimate contact and receptivity with the divine, and how important that is to nurture that particular relationship. And here is part of the reason why it is so important to nurture that relationship, because then it is, you are able to hear the still small voice speaking within you. You are able to open up and realize that your intuitive senses, your spiritual nature, your intuition is the voice of the divine. It is the voice of the divine living within you. It is the voice of the divine that you are, speaking wisdom, speaking that infinite wisdom that is the source, that love intelligence that is the source of all of life, that is forever expressing itself. And so when we tap into that, it is, and we nurture that relationship, how much easier it is to have those conversations, how much easier it is to listen and to hear and to become aware of that deep spiritual truth, that deep spiritual wisdom that is always with us, never against us, that is always guiding us and directing us and living itself through and as us. And through and as our experiences. It guides us to say, yeah, I'll do this, or no, that doesn't work for me, right? It gives us direction. It gives us purpose. It enlivens us. Spirit, you're alive in us. And each of us doing the same thing, each of us nurturing this relationship with the divine, each of us becoming a revealer of truth, each of us going and having this intimate experience with the divine, we are all tapping into the same source. We are all tapping into that same infinite well. It is the one mind with infinite connections to each and every organism of life, to each and every atom, to all of creation itself. That's why there's a number of infinite connections. And then we realize that we too are infinitely connected with one another. That we are sisters, siblings, and brothers. That we are partners, that we are co-creators, that there is not a place where you stop and I start, or I start and you stop. That there just is this one life in an infinite, individualized expression, a multitude of expression. And when we awaken to this, and when we remember this, and we can then direct our consciousness, we can use that consciousness that we are in a more focused way, and we can come together collectively in a focused way to then reveal greater truth through a collective process, or even through an individualized process. And that spiritual practice that I'm talking about right now is that spiritual practice of visioning. Visioning is opening up, not visualization. That's different. Visioning is an opening up. It is a drawing upon the wisdom. It is a drawing up of the water of consciousness. It is a drawing and rising to the surface, the divine wisdom, the divine love intelligence that is present. It is an active process of drawing up the water and revealing truth, revealing the power and the presence, and having it available for our use, having it available to us, having it available for all of us to share together in the collective whole. So it's an allowing. So what I'd like to do here now with you, and I know how Roxanne loves when we do these things, so it excites me when we do them and here in service, is I would like for us to come together around a single question. So I invite you to gently close your eyes if you feel comfortable in doing so, or a soft gaze if you prefer. And I invite you to breathe with me for a moment. Feeling the breath, feeling that unconditional love, the agape love that is the breath, breathing you, maintaining and sustaining you, breathing life and energy through your physical body temple. Allow your mind just to rest. Centering yourself in love, an unconditional love. I invite you to allow yourself to draw upon the depths of the water of consciousness and allow whatever to arise, whatever wanting to arise, whatever revelation is wanting to come to the surface, to do so in answer to this question. What is Spirit's highest idea of Riverside Center for Spiritual Living? What is Spirit's highest idea of itself as our beloved community, as our center, as Riverside Center for Spiritual Living? And allow it to surface. Don't force it. Perhaps it's a word or a phrase or an image. Perhaps it's a symbol, a sound, a scent. Perhaps it's just a feeling, a sensation. And perhaps it's just silence in the moment. There's no need to judge it, just simply allow. Allow consciousness, the depths of consciousness, to rise up to the wellspring of your mind, the wellspring of your awareness. And now, if you will, go ahead and breathe it in. Give thanks for that which has been revealed in this moment. And go ahead and type it into the comments there. Type it into the comments of your Facebook or YouTube there. Comments are available in both places. So go ahead and type in anything that's been revealed in this moment, what has risen to the surface in the wellspring of your consciousness. I see a lighthouse, I see community and commune, another community. What else has come up for you? Practical illusion. Interesting. Community. vibrant youth programming. Fabulous. Allow it to be open. Community of service. Yes. A place of love, a lighthouse, a beacon of light. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Yes. Keep reaching out and sharing our teaching with the community. Yes. A peaceful place, a place where truth and awareness are realized. Yes. Yes, yes. Place of progressive thinking where all peoples are welcome. All of us in community together again, overflowing with love, peace, and prosperity. Yes, let's keep those coming on in. And as you see there, as people are sharing what has come up through their own individual consciousness, their individualized consciousness, we're already beginning to see themes emerging about being together in community. There's a vibrancy, there is active, that we are connected, and that we are expressing and sharing love out into the greater community. So we are seeing these things as themes emerging. And so what we see from this, keep them coming in. Good morning, Denise. Fortify Riverside with love, acceptance, diversity, and kindness. Yes, amen. Vibrant, active community. Yes, Vicki, wonderful. That we are all connected. Yes, Bill. That what we're seeing is we're seeing this collective. We have individually tapped into the source. We have individually tapped into consciousness itself and allowing it to bubble to the surface, to come to the surface, drawing it up, drawing it forth, and bringing it out into the world. And notice the connection. Notice the theme that is running through this, that even though we are seated around Riverside, around the country, around the IE, that notice how regardless of where we are physically in space, each of us tapping into that one aquifer, bringing forth truth, we see the commonality, we see the thread, we see the connection, we see the love, we see the community, we see the activity of being a beneficial presence in the world, a beacon of light, a beacon of love, that we are shining a light and we are being the presence of love in our larger community. How fantastic to see this. This is a real demonstration of what we've been talking about this morning, of tapping into that source. And you can do it for yourself. You can do it for your family. You can do it for your relationships. You can do it for your work. Whatever it is that you have that may be in your mind or that may be on your heart, you can tap into, explore that relationship with the divine, and listen, and simply go in and allow your consciousness, allow yourself, your awareness to dive down deep into the well of consciousness, the water of consciousness, and allow it to come forth by simply taking a moment and pausing and inquiring, asking a sacred inquiry. What is Spirit's highest idea of? And you can fill in the blank for yourself. So this week, I invite you to continue to nurture that relationship with the divine, continue to nurture your relationship with the beloved of your being, and enter into greater dialogue. Last week you wrote a letter. This week I'm inviting you to enter into a greater dialogue, a dialogue with the divine. What is Spirit's highest idea? Or what is your highest idea, Spirit, of my life, of my city, of my work, of my career, of my relationships, of my finances? Whatever it is, you can just simply tap in and listen and allow, and don't judge. Just enter into that conversation. So that's what I invite you to this week. There is just one mind with infinite connections. Each one of us is connected to the one mind. My mind is God's mind is my mind. it is one. There is only the one. We have that infinite connection. We have that infinite connection with each other. So when we then use that connection, not only for our own good, but we use that connection for the greater good of all. And that is how we achieve a world that works for everyone and all of creation. That is how we are emboldening people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. And so it is. So let's come together in consciousness now. And so I dive deep into the well of consciousness, the one source, the one wellspring of life itself that brings forth through itself, of itself, as itself, all of creation, all of experience. I know that the universe is the manifest body of the divine, that the universe itself is an expression of the one life in an infinite number of ways, and that all of life is infinitely connected to this one life because it is only the one life expressing itself. And I know that this is the truth of who I am, that I am one with the one, connected with all that there is, connected with all life, all of creation, that I am inseparable from it, that I live, move, breathe, and have my being in it and it in and as me. So I am inseparable from anything I can see, anything I can touch, taste, smell, anything with my five senses and beyond. For I am unlimited, unbounded. I am not limited by my physical being because I am a spiritual being, having a spiritual experience on this plane of existence. And as I know that this is true of me, I know that this is true of each one present here this day. Each one is one with the one, the divine. Their minds are the mind of the divine, the one mind. Their source is the source, the one source that is all God itself. So we are all connected. We are all one with one another. And so I speak my word here for this beloved community, Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, recognizing that we are a beacon of light, recognizing that we tap into the consciousness, we tap into that infinite source of life itself and allow it to bubble up and percolate through and rise up. And we are a vehicle, a vessel, a transparency for the divine to make itself known here in Riverside, in the IE, and in the larger world as a whole, that we are the power and the presence of love right here, that we shine it forth, that we allow it to flow forth from within us, that every life that we touch, every person that we speak to, every sentient being, everything, including Mother Earth itself, is benefited by our presence, for we walk humbly in love and connection with one another, with all of creation itself. That we exemplify this, that we are what it looks like when a center for spiritual living leads a city, leads a region in consciousness, shining our light, shining our love, being that beacon of love into the world. We are a beneficial presence in our community and as our community, as a community of souls, as a community that is the beloved community. And we are in service to one another, and we are in service to life itself. And so I give thanks. I give thanks for the beauty and the perfection. I give thanks for the love and the wholeness. I give thanks for each and every person gathered here this day, that each one is the transparency for the divine. Each one is the beacon of light. Each one is the power, the presence of the divine. I give thanks that we come together and we gather together in community, bringing a collective consciousness to our area, bringing a collective consciousness to the world. And we do powerful and mighty work, because we know that the power is from within and we allow it to flow. We are not putting our power into anything. Therefore, we don't need to effort. We simply allow. And it is. And so I release this word, assured of its fulfillment, because it is already so, and so it is.
There's so much good that we can do. It starts when I reach out to you. When two or more agree, it shall be done. We're never alone. We are one. One mind, one heart. That's who we really are. Blessing the world because we believe there's one mind, one heart. You and me. Can count on you to help me out. Let's go feel it go down. Love is the answer, love is the way. Let's know the truth for each other today. One mind, one heart. That's who we really are. Blessing the world because we believe there's one mind, one heart, you and me. Can you see what love is calling us to be? One mind, one heart. That's who we really are. Blessing the world because we believe we're one mind, one heart, you and one mind, one heart. That's who we really are. Blessing the world because we believe there's one mind, one heart, one mind, one heart, one mind, one heart, you and me.
One mind, one heart. Yes, thank you, Jabel. So now I invite you to take a moment. I want to thank you for all of your conscious contributions as you continue to consciously contribute to this beloved community, Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. I know that there is this infinite wellspring of good that is rising up within each one of us, and it overflows and it pours forth from within. This is the true source of our abundance. The true source of our supply is the one source, the one infinite abundance. And this is true not only in consciousness, but this is also true in our finances as well, because if it's spiritual truth, then it is truth. It's not spiritually true here and not spiritually true over here. It's spiritual truth, right? So the easiest way to contribute to Riverside Center for Spiritual Living is via text to give. Simply text 951-419-5858 and then put in your text, put in the amount you're choosing to contribute and then hit send. It's that easy. It's just like texting a friend. Super simple to do it via text. Another way to do it is to go to our website, which is riversidecsl.org, and in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the word contribute. Click on there and it'll show you and tell you how to contribute. Don't forget, we also have our 2 or More Fund, which is our building. It helps maintain our building and grounds, that even though we are not currently in person at our center, we still have maintenance to do to keep it up so that when we are ready to return, it will be ready for us as well. So the easy way to do that is same 2 ways, via text to give or online on our website. If you're doing text to give, simply add the word more, M-O-R-E, after the amount you're choosing to contribute, and that'll go to text to give, or that'll go to 2 or more. There's lots of T's, very alliterative today. All right, so I am so grateful. I know that you are too, for all the work that we do together in this community, as a community, and for one another. We're so grateful for that, so let's sing about it. How about that, Jabel? Come on in.
All right. I love this song. Sing along with me. Well, I'm grateful for the
I love that song. It's so much fun. So before we move over to Zoom, and I invite you to join us for Beyond the Message on Zoom, and that to do that, the easiest way is to go to our website, riversidecsl.org, and click on the button there on the front page, the home page there that says Beyond the Message. And then you click on that and you'll be taken straight into Zoom. But another way of doing that is the ID number that's scrolling across the bottom of your screen, 249-395-737 with the passcode 92501 is another way of accessing that. But before we do that, just a couple of things to share with you today. First thing I'd like to bring your awareness to is Reverend Liz Cristostomo. She is the senior minister of CSL Beaumont, had a stroke a couple of weeks ago, and she has been hospitalized, and she is now in rehab before they can continue with further procedures to help restore her to physical wholeness. So Riverside CSL is assisting CSL Beaumont. Neil Hayner, our ministerial intern, is assisting them on Sunday mornings right now with their Sunday morning services. So Neil, you usually see him in the chat and everything, keeping things going in the chat, but I know that he was speaking this morning at Beaumont. So we keep Reverend Liz in our prayers. We affirm her wholeness, and we also affirm truth and peace for the CSL Beaumont community as we continue to lift them in love. So that's the first thing I wanted to bring your attention to. The second thing I wanted to share with you is something very exciting. This, there we go, is the March issue of the Science of Mind magazine. And that right there, open to possibilities. If you turn to page 100 in the magazine, turning there now, I don't know if you can see it, is an article by me. Yay. So I have written an article for the Science of Mind magazine that's been published. So yay for us here in Riverside, getting out there in the world in even greater ways. So I invite you to pick up the magazine if you haven't already done so. Get the magazine and read the article on page 100. I can't wait to hear what you have to say, hear your feedback on the article that is there in the Science of Mind magazine. So that just came out, just hit newsstands. So make sure you check that out. And then I also want to share with you that starting on March 20th, so you've got advance notice, March 20th, I am facilitating the CSL online education visioning class. Those will be on Saturday mornings, starting March 20th, from 9 a.m. to 11:30 Pacific. And that is a 6-week course, and registration is now open. You can go to csl.org/online classes, and you can register for that class there. If you are interested in thinking about becoming a practitioner, then this is a class that you would need to have. So I invite you to consider taking it that way. And if you want to learn more about visioning, we'll be talking a lot about it next month. But if you want to learn more about visioning and really start practicing visioning and taking just what we barely even scratched the surface on today into a greater expression and into a greater practice, then I invite you to take that class, the visioning class, with me March 20th. And it's with folks from around the world. So you'll get to meet folks from different centers and different places around the globe. That's one of the exciting things the way when we do online classes this way in the greater, larger scale. So I invite you to do that. So repeat after me. Take a deep breath. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called love. Love is in my mind. Love is in my body. Love is in everything I do. I am it. I share it. And I receive it because love lives here. Happy Sunday, everybody. Great to see you. I love you. Peace and blessings. We'll see you on Zoom. Ciao for now.
Go sing along. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand Have a great Sunday. See you guys next week. Love you all. Love lives.